We are at the movies with Matt and Ryan, and today we're going to review Split, which is another M. Night Shyamalan movie, the first one since The Visit back in, was it 2015, 2014?
September 2015.
Okay, so yeah. um, this is a little different than this past movies. People said prior to
I disagree on that. I mean, M. Night has
recent ones.
M. Night has one of the most interesting careers because of its peaks and valleys. I mean, he started off as like being called the next Spielberg. Sixth Sense and Unbreakable were huge hits. He was one of the few directors who, if he put his name on a project, everyone would go see it. And then after The Happening and Last Airbender and what other? Oh, Lady in the Water. His name really plateaued, and he became more of a joke in the industry than anything. And I think since then he's been going back to his more thriller-based horror roots. The Visit got pretty good reviews. I wasn't a big fan of it though. I thought it was kind of stupid. But Split is definitely more in his vein. It's about a man who has 23 distinct personalities, like a personality disorder, and he kidnaps these three girls, and then the they try to break out. He tries to contain himself and all that. So Ryan, what were your thoughts on the movie? First, I first would like to preface saying this is definitely one of the most acclaimed January releases in quite some time. I don't think since maybe the first Taken movie has a January movie came out and not only got pretty good word of mouth, but also did really well at the box office. So that is. I just wanted to preface saying that.
Yeah, it was sold out the first night we tried going, so we had to go the next day. But this movie did spark some controversy as usual, of course, because people were like, "Oh, this is an actual disorder that people have," and they felt like Shyamalan was trying to make people even more scared of other people with this disorder. But in my opinion, I think if anything, Shyamalan brings light to the situation and brings light to the issue of people should not be scared of other people with this disorder. Were you gonna say something? I don't think you were.
I don't agree. I don't think the movie has. It tries to have something to say, but it doesn't really succeed at it. And I first want to start with. I like the movie. I think it's gonna have some really big fans and also some big detractors. And I kind of get both perspectives. The movie is definitely classic M. Night, from the camera work to the way he shoots horror scenes. I mean, it's the cinematographer who did It Follows also helped him shooting the film, and the movie looks great and it moves very swiftly. And I don't get scared by anything really, but it's kind of cool the way he plays around with the PG-13 rating of like you don't really see it, but you feel like you get the intensity of it, you feel it, and I like that. He definitely has a creative way of capturing things, and I think the reason to see the movie though is James McAvoy, who gives a dynamic, well rendered, and also I think performance that has some thoughtfulness to it. I don't think he's just encompassing these personalities. He's also giving a sense of humanity to it, and the transformations he makes are fascinating because it's not really through clothes or wigs and everything. It's physical. It's like small little cues, little gestures, and then very naturalistic accents. So he really encompasses the character, or should I say, the characters very well. And he's so good in it. It's really a great performance.
Can't forget about Anya Taylor-Joy too, from The Witch.
I know, but
but here's the thing though. There was a nice connection between those two, and that's what I'm saying. I think that he does bring light to the issue because there is a nice connection at the end, and it kind of humanizes the situation. I think
adds humanity.
Yeah,
humanizes isn't a word.
It is.
But what I'm saying is, I think the movie suffers from a really wobbly tone. I think M. Night, like his movies are really well known as these kind of crowd pleasing, thrillers, edge of your seat, uproarious reactions from the audience. And I think this movie has those moments, but I think it has too many of those moments to ever be considered like a more serious, dramatic thriller.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie makes a nice attempt at subtext, and addressing mental illness, and there's some actually pretty good moments of humanity. But I think in achieving its overall goal, it just didn't work for me because it just felt too all over the place tonally.
Yeah, there was a few scenes that were a little awkward and question. Like there was a scene where he was dancing like to music, and Taylor Joy's character was kind of scared and like crying, but like the audience was like laughing at it because it's like, oh my god, he's dancing crazily. But it wasn't like, I don't know, like how are you supposed to interpret that scene? Is it funny? But at the same time, it's like sad because this is not like he's not in the right state of mind at all.
M. Night, I think he needed to be a little more focused with his attempt here because he also wrote the movie, and it feels a bit too over the map tonally, I think, and that was one of my key problems with the movie. And I think while I think Anya Taylor-Joy has pretty interesting backstory, and I get the subtext of it, all the other side elements and characters in the movie are just horror cliches, and they're just kind of there to be there. And it's a little disheartening to see a movie just kind of use characters. And my girlfriend Ashley saw the movie, and she complained that the characters, in a way, felt like they were like using them for their like sex appeal because they had them take off their shirts and their dresses and stuff like that. Which is, I agree, that it is a little. It's like using them like meat.
Yeah.
It's not really, having them as characters.
Outside of Joy, the three people that were kidnapped, the other two were not even characters. They were more like objects. I didn't understand who they were. I felt like Shyamalan just threw them in. Their dialogue was pretty awful too, and it just didn't make sense to me because they're trapped in this place with Joy's character, and like even in the beginning, I don't understand what the three's relationship is, and it's like,
well, I think that those two were friends, and then they mentioned that she had to invite her to the party because she invited everyone in her class to the party. That's kind of, they don't really have a relationship is the point. But so I got that.
I felt like it was a lazy approach though, because it was just like.
What do you mean lazy?
Because like they weren't characters. There was no.
No, I agree. They didn't.
They were just used as like you said, meat, because they ended up. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but like you could tell during the movie that like you don't really care about them. Like,
well, honestly. No, I agree they're not good characters, but I'm saying the relationship between the three, I think, is explained and it's shown well. I mean, it's you get a sense of their disconnect, like those two, Anya Taylor-Joy's character. But what was I gonna say?
But the dialogue was weak, like with those two at least.
Yeah, but I think the movie does a good job avoiding the stupid thinking that a lot of horror movies have, especially like the Bye Bye Man, because throughout the movie, I think every move the character makes is rational to the moment, and I like that. Like, there's moments I'm like, oh, do this, and then they like 2 seconds later they did that, and it's like, okay, I like that because it grounds it a bit more in a sense of reality. But I think the movie definitely peaks with its final third. I know a lot of people actually didn't like the final third that much, but I think it was a great culmination of the tension, and then there's a couple little emotional beats there that actually work kind of well, and it was pretty exciting. I think the second act does drag a little bit. It gets a little lost along the way. It's too long. I think.
Yeah, it's way too long.
It's like 2 hours long. This is his longest movie actually ever. It could have been cut as this could have been a nice tight 100-minute movie.
Well, we understand like they had flashbacks throughout the whole entire movie, and we didn't get to understand what they meant until like the end.
That's the point though. I think
it took a while though to get to the point, and it just made the movie longer.
Well, I don't know. I just think the second act, it just, I don't know. It got lost for me. I was like, okay, I don't really know where this movie's going. Like, it got a little derailed, narrative wise. I think the narrative was a little choppy in that second half. It didn't feel as focused or anything. But the third act was pretty good, and the thing a lot of people are taking away from this movie is the twist, which at the end, I think a lot of modern, I'm not going to spoil, but I think a lot of modern audiences aren't really going to understand it. I had to explain it to Ryan and Trent and Sean, who we also saw the movie with. But I mean, it's a cool little thing to add in. Does it make the movie all that much better? No, because it ultimately could prove to be kind of inconsequential. You could have no concept of what this twist means, and the movie would still be the same. Yeah. So I mean, it's a cool little thing to add in, but I don't think it's like
Yeah.
a game changer. It doesn't change the movie.
I didn't understand it at all, but like
It's cool.
Until you told
Yeah,
me.
if you understand it, it's a nice little moment. And I'm shocked M. Night thought of it. Like, because
Wow.
usually his twists suck. Like if you've seen the Village or Lady in the Water, it's like, oh my god, it's so stupid. It's just like out of left field. The worst is The Happening. The Happening, the twist is literally the plants are killing people. So
I mean, I haven't seen many of his movies, but I think I've only seen 2 actually. But I feel like this guy had a lot of pressure, like after his first movie, The Sixth Sense.
well, no,
or second.
Unbreakable was good too, and
Yeah.
then Signs.
But then when people were like, "Oh, this is Spielberg," I think he.
Well, no, they said that after like Sixth Sense, like that, because that
Still,
movie
though.
got Best Picture. I don't think it's that. I just think he's always been someone who moves to the beat of his own drum, and whether that can be misguided sometimes, yes. And I think here he's at least tapping into his old form a bit more, tapping to what he used to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a very interesting career because I think that The Village people are pretty split on. I think that one isn't awful, but like The Happening, Last Airbender, and
After Earth.
Lady in the Water. Oh, After Earth too. After Earth was like a studio thing. He didn't write that really.
Oh.
He just he liked Will Smith, so he directed it. I don't really consider that one of his movies as much. I know he did it, but it was very much like a cash job.
Well, even The Visit actually got like decent reviews.
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
like it.
yeah. Well, you had fun with it.
I had fun. It was funny.
But yeah, I didn't like.
It wasn't scary,
I didn't like it very much. I know people liked it, but I thought it was. I don't know. But I'm glad he's back to doing these kind of movies, and I don't think it's a great movie. I don't.
Yeah.
It definitely, misfires at points, but I think compared, I don't know. Like I asked you this yesterday. I don't know if you thought about it more, but where would you rank this among last year's horror movies?
It'd be right in the middle. It'd probably be definitely under Green Room. I would put it under Don't Breathe. I know you wouldn't, but and possibly The Witch. I don't know. So it'd be like 3 or 4 maybe.
I'd put it. I think my top tier of horror movies last year was Green Room, Ouija, and The Witch.
Oh yeah.
So I'd put it at fourth. I had a Don't Breathe, which I thought was amusing and entertaining, but I didn't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have enough substance. I think this at least had a little substance along the way. So do we want to get into ratings?
Yeah. My theory, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because my theory is there wasn't many characters. There was like 4 or 5 therapists too, and I think two of them, which is almost half, didn't matter to the film, and that's an issue. And plus, it was weird.
All right, I'm going to give it a 7. I think it's pretty. I mean, especially for a January movie, it's pretty good. I mean, this January has. I mean, I know Sleepless didn't got mostly bad reviews, but we enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll give it a 7. I think it's a pretty good for what it is, and I think people will enjoy it. So that's our review for Split. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think, what movies you want us to review next, and have a good day.
See ya.